And we're back with another Bitcoin video. So when I tell people that I trade Bitcoins, I get so many questions about Bitcoin. And even as of recently, I would say, I'm realizing that maybe Bitcoin is an area that still needs a lot of clarification. So I figured I'd make this video and clear up some things about Bitcoins. So in this video, we're pretty much going to do an overview of Bitcoin. So alright, let's jump right into it. So what is Bitcoin? I'm sure by now you've heard of Bitcoins, but you may still be unclear as to what exactly Bitcoin is. So really, Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency, or simply put, it is digital money. And this digital currency can be sent from user to user using the Bitcoin blockchain network without needing a middleman. So an example of a middleman in this case would be like a bank. And one of the reasons why Bitcoin or cryptocurrency in general have become so popular over the last decade is basically because cryptocurrencies are not controlled by any central powers or government. Now that you know what a Bitcoin is, let's talk a little bit about some of the key characteristics that have made Bitcoin so popular over the last few years. The first characteristic is that Bitcoins are pseudonymous. Notice I said pseudonymous and not anonymous. There is a myth out there that I've heard some of my friends say. I've heard many people say it even on YouTube that Bitcoin is anonymous. And I'm here to tell you that unfortunately that is absolutely not true. Now, what does pseudonymous mean? I mean, in terms of cryptocurrency, it means that the transactions that you made with Bitcoin are not connected to your real world identification, like your address, your phone number, your driver's license, or things of that nature. But all your Bitcoin transactions are visible to everyone on the Bitcoin network. So although they may not be connected to your real world identifications, there are still ways to trace your Bitcoin transactions back to you. I won't go into the details about the pseudonymous nature of Bitcoins in this video, but I'll be making a separate video with much more details on basically the difference between pseudonymous and anonymous in terms of cryptocurrency. And I'll also talk about how your Bitcoin transactions can be traced back to you. So moving on, another characteristic of Bitcoins is that Bitcoin transactions are irreversible. To say this in simple terms, after you confirm a Bitcoin transaction, it cannot be reversed under any circumstances. And by that, I mean there is no entity that you can call or that you can contact to reverse a confirmed Bitcoin transaction. So the fact that Bitcoin transactions are actually irreversible is one of the reasons why Bitcoin is an advantage for business owners, right? So because the transactions are final and irreversible, this is especially great if you want to reduce the number of chargebacks that you get for your business. Once a customer pays you in Bitcoin, they cannot go back to their bank and cancel the payment. Your payment is final, it is done. And as you can imagine, this is also why hackers and scammers love using cryptocurrency, because once you send them the Bitcoin, there's nothing you can do to reverse that confirmed transaction. With that said, if you're sending Bitcoin to someone, especially if it isn't someone that you know and trust, definitely ensure that the address you're using to send the Bitcoin payment is correct and that the service you're paying for is legit, right? So the best way I explain this to my friends is to think of Bitcoin transactions as a one-way street. Once you send it, you cannot cancel it, and you definitely cannot unsend it. So I can't stress this enough. Bitcoins are irreversible. Now moving on to the next Bitcoin characteristic that I'm going to talk about here is that you can pretty much receive and send Bitcoin payments from anyone and anywhere in the world. Now, as you may know, with regular bank transactions, there may be, international fees or other international restrictions that pretty much can prevent you from exchanging currency across the world. But these restrictions are pretty much eliminated with Bitcoin because both parties simply need a Bitcoin wallet to conduct the transactions. So yeah, because the Bitcoin network is a global network, where you're sending Bitcoins to or where you're receiving Bitcoins from does not matter when it comes to Bitcoin transactions. Okay, so now that we've covered what is a Bitcoin and we've looked at some of the Bitcoin characteristics, the next question I always get is how can I obtain Bitcoins? So in the next few minutes, we're going to be talking about how you can purchase Bitcoins. Well, there are a lot of ways to obtain Bitcoin, but in this video, I'm really just going to cover the one that I'm most familiar with, which is peer-to-peer Bitcoin exchange marketplaces. And really, a peer-to-peer Bitcoin exchange marketplace is simply a platform to exchange Bitcoin directly between two parties without having to involve a third party. So typically, in order for you to exchange on a peer-to-peer platform, you just need to create an account, and those are usually free of charge. So once you have your account, then you can choose a seller that you want to start trading with. Now, most peer-to-peer platforms have reviews and rankings for the sellers and for the buyers, meaning you can choose to exchange Bitcoins with only trusted sellers, based on the reviews and rankings that the marketplace provides. So really quickly, I'm going to show an example of what you can expect to see from a trusted seller's profile on a marketplace like Paxful.com. So with that said, once you've selected a trusted seller, then you send the payment. Now, some peer-to-peer marketplaces will offer escrow services, which makes the peer-to-peer exchanges more secured for both the buyer and the seller. So lastly, the seller will send you your cryptocurrency or Bitcoin to your Bitcoin wallet. And if you need more information about Bitcoin wallets, I have a video explaining the different types of Bitcoin wallets, and I'll put the link to that video in the description below. So generally, there are many peer-to-peer Bitcoin exchange platforms, but these are the most popular ones, and also they're the ones that I'm the most familiar with. And let me just quickly say that of all the peer-to-peer exchange platforms that I've used over the years, I've found Paxful to be the most convenient Bitcoin exchange platform. And the reason why I love Paxful is because they have the largest number of payment methods, including using regular gift cards to buy cryptocurrency. A lot of the other platforms also have a variety of payment methods, but I think Paxful definitely beats the others in that department. In the next video, I'm going to break down how you can ensure that your Bitcoins are stored in a secured wallet. Again, you can also check out my video on the different types of Bitcoin wallets out there. I'll leave the link to that video in the description below. So that's pretty much it for today's video. I appreciate you coming back to talk cryptocurrency. And before you go, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.